There are gifts that don't come to bless your life. They come to test it. And the most dangerous part is this. They don't look dangerous at all. They look kind. They look generous. They look like opportunities you've been praying for. But what if I told you some of the things you've accepted were never sent by God in the first place? Not everything that reaches your hands is a blessing. Not every open door is from heaven. And not every gift is meant to be received. Because some things carry a hidden cost. They don't take your money. They take your peace. They don't break your body. They slowly corrupt your spirit. And many people today are suffering not because of what they did wrong, but because of what they allowed into their life. 1 Thessalonians 5:21 gives a command that most people ignore. Test all things, hold fast what is good. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say accept everything. It doesn't say trust every offer. It doesn't say every gift is harmless. It says test it first. That means your life needs a filter, because what you allow into your home, what you allow into your heart, what you allow into your environment will shape your future more than you think. Today, I want to walk you through 8 things you should never accept, no matter how good they look on the surface. And the first one is something most people completely underestimate. 1. Never accept objects linked to idolatry or the occult. This is where many people say, it's just an object, it doesn't mean anything. But the Bible sees it very differently. Deuteronomy 7:25-26 says, "You shall not bring an abomination into your house, lest you become devoted to destruction like it." That's not superstition, that's a warning. Because in the spiritual realm, objects are not always neutral. Some things carry meaning, some things carry intention, and some things carry spiritual alignment. Now let's be clear, not everything from another culture is evil, not every decoration is dangerous. But if you know that something is connected to occult practices, witchcraft, spiritism, or any system that opposes God, then bringing it into your home is not harmless. It's an invitation. In Acts 19, when people turned to Christ, they didn't keep their magic books as memories. They burned them. Why? Because they understood a principle most people today ignore. You cannot hold on to darkness and expect to walk fully in the light. Your home is not just a physical place, it's a spiritual environment. It's where you pray, it's where you rest, it's where your mind resets. And what you allow into that space matters more than you think. This is not about fear, it's about alignment. Protect your space, protect your spirit, and don't normalize what God has already warned against. 2. Never accept anything that steals your peace. This one is more subtle, but far more dangerous, because it doesn't come with obvious signs. There will be moments in your life when someone offers you something, and on the surface, it looks perfect. A deal, an opportunity, a relationship, a gift. Everything makes sense logically, but inside, something feels off. You can't explain it, you can't prove it, but you feel it. A heaviness, a discomfort, a quiet warning you can't ignore. And most people ignore it anyway, because they don't want to seem rude. They don't want to miss out. They don't want to disappoint someone. So they override the signal. And that's where the problem begins. Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of God rule in your hearts." That word rule means to act as a referee. Peace is not just a feeling, it's a signal. It tells you when something is right and when something is out of bounds. If your peace disappears the moment you're about to accept something, pay attention. That's not random, that's protection. But many people silence that voice just to avoid an awkward moment. They say yes when everything inside them was saying no. Listen carefully. You don't need a full explanation to decline something. You don't need evidence to protect your peace. Sometimes the most spiritual response is simple. Thank you, but I'm not able to accept this, because God sees what you don't see. He sees the trap behind what looks like a blessing. 3. Never accept inheritances that carry a legacy of darkness. This is a sensitive one, because it touches family, it touches history, it touches things that feel personal. And let's be clear, the sacrifice of Jesus Christ is complete. There is no curse stronger than the blood of Christ. There is no object more powerful than what he already finished. But that doesn't mean everything from your past belongs in your future. 2 Corinthians 6:17 says, "Come out from among them and be separate. Do not touch what is unclean." In many families, objects are passed down: jewelry, furniture, relics, symbolic items. Some of them carry beautiful memories, but some carry something else. If you know an object was used in rituals, covenants, spirit practices, or anything opposed to God, you are not obligated to keep it. Not out of respect, not out of sentiment, not even out of family tradition. Because honoring your family does not mean preserving their spiritual confusion. There comes a moment where maturity looks like separation. When God led his people into new seasons, he often commanded them to destroy what belonged to the old one. Why? Because what you keep around you reflects what you are connected to. And sometimes the hardest decision is this: letting go of something that carries emotional value but spiritual danger. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to explain it. But you do have to protect your future. Because what you tolerate today can quietly shape the next generation tomorrow. 4. Never accept rewards or gains from iniquity. This is where integrity is tested, not in moments of lack, but in moments of opportunity. Because sometimes the offer looks too good to refuse. Money you didn't earn, luxury you didn't work for, opportunities that come from questionable sources. And the truth is, most people don't fall because they're forced. They fall because they're offered. Proverbs 15:27 says, "The one who hates bribes will live." That means there are things that can look like provision, but are actually corruption. Think about this. If you knowingly receive something that came from fraud, manipulation, exploitation, dishonesty, you're not innocent. You become connected to it. There's a story in Joshua 7 about a man named Achan. He took gold and garments that God had forbidden. No one saw him. No one stopped him. But the consequence didn't stay hidden. It affected his entire nation. That's the part people forget. What you accept doesn't just affect you. It spreads. It touches your home, your peace, your future. There will be moments in your life when someone offers you something valuable, but deep down you know it's not clean. And in that moment, you have to choose temporary gain or lasting peace. Because God is not impressed by blessings built on compromise. It's better to live a simple life with peace than to surround yourself with abundance that carries hidden consequences. Let me say that again. Not everything that increases your life actually blesses it. Some things enlarge your lifestyle while shrinking your soul, and once integrity is traded, it's very hard to get it back. And this is where most people start to feel it. Because now it's no longer about objects. It's about choices. It's about what you allow when no one is watching. And in the next part, it gets even more personal, because some things don't just affect your spirit, they keep you trapped in your past. 5. Never accept gifts that keep you anchored to pain. There are things in your life that don't look harmful at all. They sit quietly in your room, on your shelf, in a box you rarely open. But every time you see them, something shifts. A memory comes back, a feeling returns. A version of yourself you thought you left behind suddenly feels very close again. And just like that, you're pulled back into a place God already brought you out of. Philippians 3:13 says, "Forgetting what is behind and reaching forward to what is ahead." But how can you move forward when part of your environment keeps dragging you backward? Some objects are not just objects. They are emotional anchors. Letters from a relationship that broke you, gifts from someone who manipulated you, reminders of a season filled with shame or regret. And every time you look at them, they whisper something. Not truth, not healing, but pain. And here's the hard truth. Not everything with sentimental value has spiritual value. Just because something meant something to you doesn't mean it still belongs in your life. Healing is not just internal. Sometimes it requires a physical decision. Letting go, throwing it away, giving it up, removing it from your space completely. Because as long as it stays, a part of you stays stuck with it. God didn't set you free so you could build a museum of your past. He set you free so you could walk forward. And sometimes the breakthrough you're waiting for is on the other side of what you refuse to release. 6. Never accept anything that compromises your integrity and convictions. This one is the most dangerous of all, because it doesn't look like temptation. It looks like success. It looks like opportunity, promotion, access, influence. But behind it, there's a condition. There's always a condition. Just stay quiet about this. Just bend the truth a little. Just go along with it this one time. And slowly, line by line, you're asked to trade something. Not money, not time, but your integrity. Matthew 16:26 asks a question that cuts deeper than anything else. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? That's the real cost. Because not all losses are visible. Some people gain everything externally and lose everything internally. There's a moment in the wilderness when Jesus Christ was offered power over all kingdoms. It was a massive opportunity, instant influence, instant authority, instant elevation. But there was one condition: bow down and worship. And without hesitation, he refused. No negotiation, no delay. Why? Because anything that requires you to betray your foundation is not a blessing. Exodus 23:8 says, "A bribe blinds those who see clearly and twists the words of the righteous." That means even strong people can lose clarity when the offer is tempting enough. And the enemy knows that. He won't always attack you with something obviously wrong. He'll offer you something you want, but attach a hidden cost you're not ready to pay. So let me say this clearly. If it requires you to lie, walk away. If it pressures you to stay silent in injustice, walk away. If it asks you to lower your standards, walk away. Because your peace is worth more than position, your soul is worth more than success, and your calling is worth more than convenience. And now we reach the final layer, because after objects, after emotions, after integrity, there's one more area where people make the most dangerous mistakes: relationships and timing. 7. Never accept relationships that pull you away from your purpose. Some relationships don't enter your life to build you. They enter to distract you. And the hardest part is this: they don't look toxic. They don't look dangerous. They feel good. They feel comforting. But slowly, something starts to change. You begin to drift. You pray less, you focus less, you compromise more, and before you realize it, you're no longer the person you used to be. Corinthians 15:33 says, "Bad company corrupts good character, not destroys it instantly, corrupts it slowly." Not everyone in your life is assigned to your future. Some people are only meant for a season. If a relationship pulls you away from God, away from discipline, away from your purpose, it doesn't matter how good it feels. It's not aligned. 8. Never accept opportunities that rush you out of God's timing. This is where many people miss it completely, because the opportunity looks right, the direction looks right, but the timing isn't. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven." There will be moments in your life when something appears suddenly. Decide now. Don't miss this. But urgency is not always from God. God doesn't rush you into confusion. If an opportunity removes your peace, creates pressure, and demands immediate action, pause. Step back. Pray. Because what is from God will never require you to abandon discernment. Final message: knowing how to receive is important, but knowing how to reject is protection. If you learn this today, your life will change. Share this message, and remember, not every gift is a blessing.